All right, you guys. So how amazing was Green Carpet, right? Did y'all come back like totally on fire? So if you weren't able to be there live, hopefully you were able to catch some of the live stream. I actually think you can actually still get a live stream ticket and go back and watch it for 30 days. So, or if not, like get with a leader that has it and you can still go back in and watch it. It was flipping incredible. And I've been in 4 years. I've been to every single event. I've missed one. I've missed one green carpet. But other than that, I have been to literally everything. And this was by far, one of my favorite events ever. It was all around, which Jess is going to talk about, but it was all based around telling your story, which is such a powerful thing for your business and literally one of the most important things we can do. So we're going to spend some time on that. But real quick, I want to just really fast talk about conference and why every single person needs to get their conference ticket, you guys. It will completely change your business. I know we could all of us leaders could say, like, I was this rank going into conference and I promoted to this rank right after. Every single one of us has that story. I wish I could say why, but it's something about being in the room with corporate and with your team and with top leaders that it just does something to you. You come back with a completely different fire. And so you guys, you have to get in that room. Your business really, like, you cannot afford to not be there. And Britt's going to talk a little bit about some more about that, but just know you have to be there. Right now, it is early bird pricing still. So instead of $350, it's $250 through the end of the month. With that, you are going to get 5 codes for half off BBKs. Okay, you guys. So you pay for your conference ticket, enroll 5 distributors for half off, fast start all of them, and that is $500 right there, you guys. Without talking about product rewards or anything else, you can pay for your ticket with that. So there is literally no excuse not to be there. It is life-changing. You also get 1,000 incentive cruise points. Goodness, where are we going back? 2 years? You will get 1,000 incentive trip points as well. And that is through the end of the month. So you guys, this incentive trip, like, it is anybody's trip to have. I just want y'all to know that. Like, I don't care. If you are working your business, you can totally earn this trip. It's not going to be that hard. So I hope all of you guys are taking advantage of that. Okay, Britt, I'm going to come over to you. You look frozen. Hopefully you're not frozen.
Am I frozen?
You're good. There you go.
Like, really, am I frozen?
No, I think you're good. Let me switch it to this view. Okay.
Okay. Because if I'm frozen, I don't have that ugly, like, still shot that usually haunts me on all of my live videos.
You're good. You're totally good.
Okay, so I'm just super excited to kind of talk to you about mindset about this business, and maybe this isn't something you need to hear. And if you don't need to hear this, I'm proud of you, right? If you do need to hear this, I'm proud of you for being on here, okay? But if you don't need to hear this, I'm going to word it in a way that you can explain it to your team. Because I'm pretty sure you've come across someone that you really want to go to conference with you, but they kind of have the negative Nancy, or I like to call it Downer Dallas attitude. Okay, we got the males and the females. And there's always those people that something's so exciting, and they're always like, but, I know, but. And so I kind of want to talk about how mindset in this business and conference can literally ever loving kill your business. Okay. And those of you that spent a little time with me and like one-on-one time with me this weekend, specifically my girl, Jamie and Shauna, they kind of got to see a different side of me. You know, when we go up to something like, for instance, our meal took forever to get to us. Actually, we didn't even get our lunch meal. And naturally, sometimes you want to be on the defense. You want to be like, this is ridiculous. I always take the high road. Always take the high road, because I want people to give me grace, and so I know I have to give grace to receive grace. And the same thing with this business. If you want to attract positive things, if you want to attract success and abundance, It's going to take a positive mindset, okay? And so let me just kind of wrap this around conference for a minute. You know, like Trista said, you're going to get 5 codes. And if you're working your business, you know, some people would see the codes and have the, well, I'll never use those. Well, if you had that thought, you're not going to use them, right? If you have the thought of, oh my gosh, 5 codes, I'm going to be able to use all of those. I wish I could get more. That's going to be $500 in your pocket. That right there pays for your ticket plus some, okay? The other thing I want you to do is if you take, let's just round it up to $300, and you were to divide it by 12 months, that's right around $25 a month that you are investing in your business for a couple things. You know what it changed about my business? And I want to show you how real and relatable that although you may see this strong, confident, powerful mom now, I wasn't back then, okay? And I remember going to my first conference. Some of you have heard this story, some of you have not. I remember going to my first conference and I was so excited, and my mom, I was staying at my mom's and she was cooking behind me, and she said the words, "I can't believe that you would go to Florida without your son." And here's the thing, my mom is like my biggest supporter. She wasn't even trying to be mean. And I remember, you want to mute it real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody.
I remember sitting there and legit start bawling. And I turned around and I nicely, but not so nicely said, "I'm going to Florida for him. Don't you ever say something like that to me ever again." And when she saw that emotion in me, not only was she very quiet, but she said, "I guess I never looked at it that way." I went to my first conference as a diamond. I went to my next conference as a presidential diamond, averaging 6 figures a year, standing on stage in the top 100. Okay? Conference changed everything for me. And for me, the way I look at it is you going to conference is proving to your friends and to your family, not that you need their approval, but some of you are waiting on it. Okay? Taking that serious step and not just keeping it social media fun, but taking it, showing it that you're treating it like a business, they're going to take you way more seriously. Okay. And I think that's the best way that I can show you that mindset is everything. You know, like Tristan and I were talking about this, and it's so true, not just about the conference, but about this business. If you're, and I'm going to take a little time, Tristan and I agree, we want to take a little time and not just make this, you know, just about conference, because for those of you that don't make it, we want this to like empower you too. If you're looking for a problem, you're going to find one. If you're looking for something to be excited about, you can find that too. You're going to have to decide what you're looking for. I mean, how many times have we tried a product and at first we don't like the way it tastes, right? But if you're so wrapped around that you don't like the way it tastes, you're never going to continue to actually see the benefits and feel the benefits. And that is something that I wasn't always like this. It's something that I've had to learn, I've had to grow. And, you know, I got to spend a little bit more one-on-one time with some people that went to Green Carpet. Those of you that went, they're probably going to touch base on it a little bit. There is a shift happening within our team. And it's really, really exciting to me. One thing you've heard me say before, I already know we have one of the strongest teams, right? Because we have quite a few people, not only in the top of the company, which if you looked at all the teams It Works has, not many have as many as we do, okay? So that's something to stand for itself. But I don't know about you guys, but that's not good enough for me. I want double the amount, triple the amount, quadruple the amount if you guys are ready to go there. But this entire business is mindset. And until we get to the point where, like, for instance, when conference comes out, you can say, you want to mute it real quick?
Yep.
You can say something like, "I don't have the money to go to conference," or you can say something like, I can't afford not to go to conference. And a shout out to a couple of you girls, specifically that I've just seen post. Andrea and Veronica just came to Green Carpet. And I'll be honest, I had mentally almost given them an excuse. I had almost said, well, since they were at Green Carpet and conference is a little closer to Green Carpet, I may not see them again for a year. I mean, honestly, with not living close to each other. But no, they said, we're coming. And they've already made posts about their overstock product, trying to make the cash to make sure they are there. And I think it's because they got to experience Green Carpet and they know that they cannot miss this. And so I'm just super excited to see all of you guys, and I'm super excited what's kind of happening, what's brewing right now with the Overcomers.
It is exciting up in here right now. I'm like, the group chats are off the chart. The team page is crazy. I am absolutely so excited for what's coming. And what I love is we're at a time of year where like how we end this year is going to determine what like after conference looks like next year. And we are like planting all the seeds we need to right now. And the excitement is here this year. Next year is going to be even crazier. I'm going to mute everybody one more time. Jess, go ahead and unmute yourself. Like we said, the overall theme was how to tell your story, the importance of telling your story, why you want to tell your story. So Jess is going to talk about that.
Hi, guys. Okay, so really quickly, I just wanted to say something about conference really quick since we're on that topic. A couple people asked me today, like, how important do I feel like it really is? Well, let me just tell you really quickly. My very first conference, I showed up as a brand new diamond, okay? And I thought that was the cap. I thought that was it for me. I started this business to be a ruby. All I ever wanted was $500 a month. I went to the conference.
Pause. Okay.
And I went to that conference and literally stood there. Trista and I, like, for real, cried the whole time. And, like, I'm not kidding, like, ball cry, because I, like, saw these people on stage, and I was like, oh, my God, like, oh, my God, she's just like me. She's just like me. And, oh, my God, if she can do it, I can do it, too. You guys, I left there as a new diamond, and in 7 weeks, I was a triple diamond. And I can tell you right now, it is 150% because I was there. I never would have caught that vision like that ever in a million years had I not been there. So that's why I'm so passionate about these events. Okay. Secondly, like Trista said, there are several of you tonight that are going to be talking for the very first time. And I know, as somebody 4 years later who is super shy, that I know I don't come across that way often, but because my heart is pounding, you guys, I get so nervous before Zoom still to this day. So I understand your nervousness, but I am so stinking proud of you, okay? Because like Pam Souter always says, when you stand up, okay, even if your legs are shaking and your heart is pounding, when you stand up, your paycheck goes up, okay? So I just want you all to know that I am so stinking proud of you tonight. Okay, so like Trisha just said, really the overall theme of this weekend, you guys, it was amazing. Okay. Like we said, 4 years later, I took pages and pages and pages of notes. Like, you never stop growing and stop learning. Things never stop changing and evolving. But the overall theme of this weekend really was about the importance of sharing your journey, sharing your story as often as you can, as many ways as you can, and as authentically as you can. Okay. Over and over and over again. We heard success story after success story of how did you get to where you are? And it was that I share the ups, the downs, the mountaintops and the valleys. I share the good, the bad. I share it all, and I share it as me, that they don't try to be somebody else. You can't, that so often wrapped up, I'm going to come into this and I'm going to try to, I have to be a Brittany Landrum, right? And I'm going to have to post like her, and I'm going to have to take pictures like her because she's successful. So I'm going to have to emulate that. But nobody can be a successful you like you can, right? So it is finding what, your pillars are, what are those important things in your life, finding a way to weave that into your business, share that on a consistent basis. Okay. Being transparent in your posts, like I said, also not only in your posts, but in your conversations with people that you meet online and offline. I can't remember who said it, but she said, meet people, compliment people, add value to their lives, and that will open a door for conversation. right? You have to remember, you guys, we get so wrapped up in this me with this business that we have to remember we are in the human business, okay? So we are here to improve lives, to make people smile, to make people happy, to make people feel better, and to help them change their lives, which in turn amazingly helps us change our lives, right? So we can't forget that aspect, that this isn't all just about us, okay? And when you take the focus off just you and your business and what can you do for me, but rather what can I do for you, we're going to add value to each other's lives, and guess what's going to happen? Your business is going to boom. Over and over again, we kept hearing, facts tell, but stories sell. So you can give facts all day about products, but when you share stories, right? When you share a story about maybe a product, maybe you're sharing how you feel, how does it taste, how does your friend Christy feel on this product? What are some success stories with this product? That is what sells. But it's the same thing with your business, okay? Sharing stories, and you heard, there's a very big difference between sharing your story and sharing your success story, okay? So you may be new and think, I don't have a story to tell. I don't have anything to share. Nothing has, I haven't really made any money yet. What do I have to say that's going to get someone to join my team? But what you do have is you do have a story. You have a story, and how they suggested you share this is tell what life was like before it works. Okay. What were your struggles? What were your fears? How did you come to find it works? What held you back? What did you have to overcome? Did you have some fears? Talk about those. Maybe what's different now, or what is going to be different in the future because you said yes to it works. And then most important part of all of that is to never forget to invite people. Okay. Posting is not asking. So not only just getting out there and sharing your story, but being willing to invite people to join in with you. Because what you have your hands on, you guys, changes lives. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. For 18 years, this company has been changing lives, and you can do that too, but you can't be afraid to ask. Okay. So share your story from the get-go. It doesn't matter if you have had any successes yet. And if you want to share success stories, share some teammate stories, share their journey, share their because of it works. There's tons of stories, you guys, that you can use, but ultimately what you want to do is you have to put power into what you have. What are you here for? Why did you say yes? And what is this company going to do for your family? Okay, maybe that's the vacation that you're going to post about. Like, I can't wait for this vacation. Maybe that is, paying off medical debt and talking specifically on how much debt that you have. Share your story and share it in little bits and pieces often, so that you are pinpointing different groups. Okay, think about the kind of different groups that you have on your news feed. Okay, so maybe that for me, maybe, part of my story is I'm going to post about being able to be home with my kids. Okay. That's going to appeal to those people that are tired of working and leaving their kids every day. Okay. Part of my story is the fact that the greens have changed my life. So I'm about that part of my story. And that's going to appeal to those people that are looking for something to make them feel better. Maybe that also have struggled with IBS. Right. And then I'm going to talk about maybe the debt that I have paid off, or that I'm working to pay off, because that's going to attract to a different group. So think about all the different things that this business is doing for you, has done for you, or is going to do for you. That is what you talk about, and that is what you share, because that is going to appeal to a whole bunch of different groups. But again, it's just being genuine, being honest, being authentically, you, and sharing that story. Over and over and over again, we heard, people are not attracted to perfection. You don't have to have the perfect picture. You don't have to have the perfect family. You don't have to have the perfect picture, right? But what they do want, what they are attracted to, is realness. Okay, how often do you make a post or see someone make a post and they're just talking about, like, maybe struggles with their kids that day, or maybe they're talking about, not to go out and complain in any way, but people want to feel community in the fact that they're not alone, right? When they see somebody else, they're like, yes, girl, me too. Like when I talk about the $55,000 in credit card debt we had, you guys, there are so many people that will come to me and say, that is us. That is what we are living, and nobody else knows it, right? Being transparent during that part of our journey and our story, you guys, like, people aren't attracted to the fact that maybe I posted a perfect picture with it, right? They're attracted to the fact that they can relate to me because I'm being open and I'm being authentic. People are going to relate to your struggles, right? More than they're going to relate to your successes. Because how many of you, like me, I could have seen a post about someone earn $100,000 bonus. I would have been like, yeah, right. Or, yeah, good for her, but I could never do something like that, right? But when they see where you come from and what you're working towards and how they can relate to that for your story, guess what? They are like, yep, girl, me too. So really, honestly, like, what I took away from that, like, in general terms, was just to continue to be real, to be raw, to be open, to be you, not try to be anybody else, but to share, try to find ways to share your story, even if it's in little bits and pieces, but sharing your journey every single day, you guys, because people are watching, people are interested, people do want to relate to somebody and know that there is a way out of how they're feeling or the situation that they're in. So continue to share your journey, continue to just be the best you that you can be. And you guys, you are going to help so many people. You're going to help so many people.
Perfect. Thank you, Jess. I think the most important takeaway is that everybody has a story. Like, everybody has a story. And you just have to be bold and comfortable in sharing that. Britt, you want me to come back to you? You said you had something else you wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about mindset really quick. I know not everyone knows me on social media, so you may not have seen my post today. It was actually something that was shared with me. I was on a Zoom. I think it was a Zoom or was face-to-face with Cammie. I can't remember. But when she read this, I was like, holy moly, this is so powerful. And I'm not going to have anyone raise hands. I'm not going to have anyone, answer below. But I'm going to ask you to answer yourself honestly. Okay? And what I would ask you is, are you in the business to better your own life? Right? Or I would ask you, are you in the business to help other people, which will in turn better your life, okay? If you are in the business of truly, not just so it sounds good, not because it looks good, not because you know it will get you where you want to go, but if you 110% truly care about helping other people, you are going to have times that you are back in the valley or you feel like you're in the valley. Because here's the deal. If you met me and my story looked like this, oh my gosh, I was raised, my parents had an abundance of money. I made the A team in every sport I ever tried out for. I never had any acne. I never got made fun of for having a mustache. Like, I'm giving you true life things. Like, this legit happened to me. And like all these things, right? And I never had one thing that ever sounded remotely ugly or nasty or just a struggle I went through, you would not relate to me. Some of you relate to me because I was a single mom. Some of you relate to me because I was bullied when I was in middle school. Some of you relate to me because I, blah, blah, blah. Like, the list goes on and on, okay? You are given struggles, I believe, for a reason. So I want to read you something for those of you that have not read my post. Like I said, someone gave this to me. It said, in life, we arrive at mountaintops and we think we have arrived, but God has higher mountains ahead of us. Sometimes Jesus will say to us, do you want to go up that mountain? And I'm just crazy enough to follow him there. But I expect a magic bridge to appear like Indiana Jones, and I'll be able to run to the next mountain. But Jesus says to me, didn't you know that bridges are man-made? I didn't make bridges. From mountain to mountain, I made valleys. When I heard that, chills came over my body. But it made me so much more excited about the junk, because I know it's when I'm sitting in the junk, like I'm currently about certain things in my life, I know that I'm going to take this junk. Thousands of more people are going to be able to relate to me, and I'm going to be able to lock arms and help them. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, so that maybe you'll get a different perspective on the junk that happens in your life.
Absolutely. I love that, Britt. Thank you so much for sharing that.
So really quickly, you guys, I have to tell you something that I thought about. For those of you that were on our leadership retreat in Gatlinburg, there was so much talk about mountains and valleys during this green carpet. And didn't you find it like it gave me chills to think about what were the necklaces that you guys took away from that weekend? I don't think that's any surprise that one of the gifts was a charm with a mountain on it, right? Like, I feel like there's so much validation and like just so much happening in this team. Like, I feel like, oh, it seriously just gives me chills. I just love it. Anyway, I've been thinking about that all day.
You guys are in the right place at the right time for such a time as this. It's so exciting. Okay, so we are going to really quick, we're going to try and run through these. But we have asked everybody who was there, most people that were there, to come up and share a couple of things. So we asked them each to share one tip that they took that they're actually going to put into action to build their business. And then what was their biggest aha moment. So get your pens ready, get your notes ready. This is where the good stuff's going to come. And like I said, a lot of these people, it's their first time sharing. So I'm so excited to hear them share. It was a lot of their first time getting to an event. So lots of good stuff. Okay. We're going in alphabetical order because that was the easiest way to do it. So Amanda, just unmute yourself and you should pop up.
All right. So my biggest tip as far as business building, is definitely to start using Connect. If you aren't already, if you are using it, like kind of here and there, not great on it, definitely get to using it. Because there are so many cool things that just rolled out with Connect. Plus, it makes your follow-up so much easier. And I think that was one thing in the past that would hold me back is, you know, I was just like, oh, I'll send like this many follow-ups and like focus on my new messages. And I was focusing more on new than I was follow-ups, and then everybody was kind of getting lost. But with Connect, it's made follow-up so much easier, and so much quicker, like so much quicker. And that is the best thing in the world. And then as far as my biggest takeaway from conference, Jess definitely hit on a lot of my big takeaways, but it's totally fine. So the biggest thing for me was to talk about your struggles. It's something that I've struggled doing, just because it's not comfortable to talk about your struggles. It's not comfortable to talk about the things that you're like, we can just kind of shove that under a rock and never talk about it again. But by talking about your struggles, people are going to be like, me too. And that is the number one thing that everybody wants in this world, is just to feel like not alone. So again, you're probably going to hear that so many times, because I think that was like such a big thing. And then also remember too, that from your struggles comes your growth. And so those are times where your growth is really going to come in, and that's where you're going to flourish.
Yep. I love that so much. So with Connect, with what she said about Connect, I walked out and looked in, I uploaded my, my app, and I was blown away by all of the messages that were in there for me. And I'm like, why have I not been doing this the whole time? Like, there is so much in there. So actually, I think that's what our next Zoom is going to be focused on, is all about Connect. So get ready, coming at you next Monday. I'm just going to put it out there. That's what we're doing. We are going to Zoom about Connect because it is an amazing tool. So thank you, Amanda. Okay, Andrea, go ahead and unmute yourself, girly.
Hey guys. So first I just want to say that when I bought my ticket to conference, or to Green Carpet, I was all excited. I was doing everything I needed to be doing for my business. And then I got myself in a slump, and I was like, I almost didn't even go the day before to leave to go to Florida. And something just told me to go, and I went. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw Britt and Trista and Jess and Christy and all of them, I was fangirling, okay? But I'll tell you that Green Carpet it literally lit a new fire underneath me that I didn't even know was there. And so I guess like the biggest tip that I learned, and I've heard over and over and over again, but I guess it was just different because I heard it at Green Carpet, I don't know, but it was to treat your social media like you would read a book, and to be real and raw and authentic all the time, and be consistent. And I guess that my biggest takeaway was something that you said, Trista, and it was, if you can't dream, your family can't dream. And that spoke to me on so many levels, because you know, I want more for my family and my kids, and I want to be able to spend more time with them and do things for them. And I knew if I'm not dreaming, then how the heck are they? And so, I mean, I guess that's what I would say my biggest takeaway was.
I love that. That's such a big part of my story, and I try to tell it every time, because I don't know why I never thought of that. Like, I have no clue why that never occurred to me. But literally, if you can't dream, your kids can't dream. They're gonna do what you do, not what you say. So I love that. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got in that room and you were able to spend time with everybody. And I can't wait to watch what happens because of it. I'm so proud of you. All right, Ashley Kunkler, let's go to you.
Okay. Hey guys, there's a couple things that I want to say before I give my tips and stuff. For everybody that is speaking to for the first time, know that fear is a selfish feeling, because you're thinking, what are people going to think of me? Just take a deep breath. Know that there's somebody that's on here that needs to hear what you have to say, and that it's going to be okay. So just take a deep breath. And I'm still nervous 3 years into doing this, so just know it's normal. Second, also, I want you guys to make sure that you guys are taking notes, but I also want to challenge you to take 3 tips off of this that you pick up and put it into action. You can listen to us tell you guys what our favorite thing was about Green Carpet, why getting to conference is so important, but if you don't implement the things that you hear on these Zooms into your business, it's for nothing. You can show up and put your face on this, but your business isn't going to grow unless you put what you learn into action. So those are my 2 things before my tips and my aha moment. So what's the first question? I forget. What's the first question? The tip? I don't remember. I'll just talk about my aha because that's the only thing that I can remember. So my biggest aha was basically that, or the most important thing for me for getting to events. I love getting to events because just like Jess says, I learn something every single time that I go. I get my cup filled. I feel more excited about my business. But you guys, something that happened during this Green Carpet, like, I'll probably start crying. You guys know I'm a crier, so just bear with me here. I have been talking about rebuilding very, very often before leading up into Green Carpet. And I'm gonna start crying. I got to go to Cammie's house, and Mark came and visited Cammie's house, and there was just a small group of us. And when I'm gonna start crying. When he said the word reload, it just validated everything that I was feeling going into that. And that's why I think that getting to these events is so stinking important. It just validates that you're, like Trista said, you're in the right company at the right time. I'm feeling all of the things that I just feel like I'm on the right path. And I believe that I'm in the spot that I need to be in to reload and go to the top. I already believe that I'm going to be an ambassador one day. And this just reaffirms that I need to reload to get there. And that makes me so stinking excited, you guys. It just validated what I was feeling, and it makes me so excited to get new people into my business, to get them started off on the right foot. And I'm just so excited. Also, being able to be around other leaders and learn from them at these events is so invigorating as well. I was able to talk to Alyssa kind of one-on-one at dinner one night. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was at that event, I would not have had that opportunity to talk to her. And she gave me a book and said, download it right now. It's an Audible. It's 3 hours. And so I did. And today I was starting to listen to it on when I was on the treadmill. And again, you guys, it was the weirdest. You guys, the universe is the weirdest thing. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but for those of you that are in Boss Babes, you guys have heard me talk about how I was never a finisher. If you've seen me on my Facebook page, I've talked about starting my 90-day challenge because I've never been a finisher. I would start books. I would never finish it. I would start a 90-day challenge. I would never finish it. The words that were spoken on this book, audiobook, were literally that. This guy said, he's in network marketing. He literally said, I was never a finisher. I started my 90-day challenge. You guys, I almost started crying on the treadmill. Again, it was just this weird universe that I've been putting this stuff out into the universe. I started my 90-day challenge. I'm getting results. I don't know this guy from Adam, okay? But he said those words too, and it just again, validated the fact that I'm doing the right things for my business. Good things are going to come. And I just put it out there. So validation is huge for me. The feeling that you get to being around these leaders, that all of that would not have happened if I would have not shown up for Green Carpet. I remember the first question now. The thing that I'm doing, that I'm putting into action, is my 90-day challenge. I got, again, the panel on the 90-day results. I've seen it so many times, but for whatever reason, I decided to do it. And I heard people say my business started to boom once I started to get results. And I'm already seeing that. That was just something that I urge you guys to do. Start your 90-day challenge. We have 99 days left as of today to finish this year. Finish it with a 90-day challenge and see what happens leading into conference.
I love that. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, that book is called Build to Last, and it is phenomenal. I just finished it. It's so good. I like the whole thing is like highlighted. It's so good. But okay, so let's talk about kind of what Ashley said at the beginning, the getting on these and getting the knowledge. Like that's only so much, right? That's not where the power is. The power is in the action. And every single person on here can do what she just talked about as her action step. A 90-day challenge literally will blow your business up. That will finish out this year. You'll have your own results going into the beginning of next year. And that's when boom time is. I'm calling it. This winter is going to be boom time, but that will even take it up another notch. So thank you so much, Ashley. That's so good. Okay, next up we have Ashley and Jason.
Hey guys. I am going to start, and I'm going to let you know what I took away that I'm going to put into action with our team. I'm super excited about it. We do weekly power hours. We do a early power hour, and then we do a late power hour. And I've just found that they'll start off really strong, and then people will just start dwindling away. So I feel like sometimes maybe that hour is maybe just too long, because I know that I'm super busy as a mom, and that, sitting down for an hour, just focusing, sometimes it just doesn't work for people. So someone talked about doing a power 30, and I think that it's a great idea and something that we're going to start. And what she said that she did was she gives a message for everyone to send, and everyone sends the same message and then takes screenshots of all that they sent. So it holds everyone accountable, and I think that's a great idea, and we're going to use it.
Yep. So, and then for the aha moment, there were so many of them, but the thing that hit home most with me, and I came out of Green Carpet, and there was a group of gals standing there that I walked up to, and my exact words were, if you're not going after Hispanic and Latino areas, you are crazy. They gave a stat, and they said the average rate of pay is $4.70 an hour in Mexico. If you can help them get to Ruby, you're literally going to change their family's life and their legacy forever. Guys, my task with Ashley and I, we work together in a very tight-knit group, but my task is to go after Mexico, and that's what you're going to see me do fast and furious the rest of this year. The one other thing that somebody had said, and I believe this actually came from a Friday training, but for those of you that are stuck and say that you want this so bad, if I told you that when you got home, because most of us have kids, there was going to be a note laying on your counter saying, I've got your kids, and they're not coming back home until you get to the said rank that you want to be at by that set amount of time, what's going to stop you? If you're like us, there's nothing going to come in the way of you taking my kids. And that's the way we've got to treat this business every single day. Those are my biggest takeaways.
Amen. Ashley, I'm so proud of you for talking. I was expecting Jason to do the whole thing. I'm so proud of you. I love it. And I love that so much. Honestly, like, it's easy to, do the things when things are easy, you guys, but when things get hard or life is busy, this a lot of times gets pushed to the wayside, but it's because our why isn't big enough. We're not dreaming big enough. We don't have that solidified thing that we're fighting for. And just like you said, if somebody said they're going to take our kids away, we would figure it out, right? So we just have to treat it like that all the time. Perfect. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Deb, you're up.
Hi, everyone.
So my biggest business building tip was to tell my story. And I just realized that it's important for people to know who I am. And I've done that a little bit, but I've never really dug in deep. And just to let people know what I'm struggling with, how I deal with it. I mean, obviously on a positive note, like no negative ness, but maybe there's people out there that are going through the same stuff that I'm going through, and they can relate to it. We're a blended family, a huge blended family, and we have 6 boys. And I bet most people on this Zoom don't even know that because I don't talk about it. And I decided that that's my biggest building tip that I'm going to do for myself. And I started yesterday on the plane ride home. I generally on a plane, I just sit there. And someone said, open your mouth and talk. And I chatted with the one lady all the way home. And it turned out that she had a huge blended family too. And we hit it off. I gave her some samples. She's placing an order this week. And I got her on Facebook, and I really stepped out of my comfort zone just by talking about who I am. So that's one of the biggest things I'm going to do for building my business, and just let people know who I am and how certain things make me feel, what I'm going through and what I found and how I've dealt with things, that kind of thing. And then my biggest aha moment was that I realized that anybody can be successful in this business. We met leaders from all different types of backgrounds, all different types of cities, that kind of thing. And not to doubt myself and push the naysayers out and tell them to sit down and shut up. That was like huge for me. Stay in my own lane and not compare myself to anyone else. Just go and keep going forward. And there's going to be mountains, there's going to be valleys. That's part of the journey. And instead of stressing about it, just enjoy it. It's all about the ride. So I made notes here. What else did I have? I think that was it. Oh, and the other thing I would say is get to events. Being up in Canada here, I always kind of felt out of it a little bit. And walking in this time and seeing people come up to me and hug me, and I felt like I fit, like I was on the inner circle.
Deb, you complete me. You totally.
And you don't get that unless you get to events. Like, get to events. It's huge. It's huge. Okay.
Oh, I want to come hug you right now. I love you so much. I'm so dang proud of you.
Deb, do you see in the comments we're all fighting over who loves you more?
I'm her biggest fan. Nope, it's me. I'm calling it. It's me.
I love you guys.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, next up is Jamie. Jamie came all the way from California, you guys. California to get there. I was like, what? That's amazing.
The flight was absolutely awful, but totally worth it to be there. So I'm totally with Deb. This was my first time at an event, and it's weird because like you hear all the time people saying like, just get to an event, just get to an event. And I would always kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, okay, yeah, just spend more money when I'm not making that much money as is. And I can't even express, I'm still trying to understand like what just happened, because like, I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was when I first initially walked in. So yes, get to an event. But I think the tip that I really liked was just because sometimes when I talk to people about losing weight and trying the products and all of that stuff, and they have the conversation that they want to lose weight, but then they kind of stop messaging you, stop talking to you. I really liked when Nina Moore said that she basically messaged them and say like, hey, so how's that weight loss journey going? Like, how much weight have you lost so far? And that kind of like spoke to me, because I was like, oh, like there's so many people. So I've already started to use it. I've already got people responding, and some people are like, oh, it's not going too hot. And I'm like, well, girl, when you're ready, I'm here to help. So that was a tip that I really liked. That was something that I'm already using and I definitely think is fantastic. And then my aha moment, I have like a list of them, but to just pick one, I'm going to say is just that, like, hearing everyone's different stories and seeing that, like, no one has a better chance at this than anyone else. And, you know, talking to so many people this weekend, it was crazy because no matter who I talked to, everyone had an insecurity. Everyone was self-conscious about something. And it's just crazy to me because if you think about how much we all judge ourselves and, like, you know, look at other people and think of how amazing they are. And, oh, well, they must have more friends than I do. They must have all of these different things. I read a quote and it was that the millionaire and I think it's like the homeless person has the same 24 hours in a day. And it's just crazy because literally the only difference between the people at the very top of me is that they're busting their, gonna filter myself, their hiney to get there. And so that for me was just one of the things of, like, hearing everyone. I told Brittany, I was like, I'm gonna be on that stage. Like, it's gonna happen. So mark my word, guys, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be up there.
Yes, you are, sister. And we will be cheering for you every single step of the way. I think that was the most, like, eye-opening thing for me at my first event. I was like, whoa, these people aren't any different than me. So every single person, every single square on this, like, you can be up on that stage. You just have to keep showing up for yourself. I love it. Thanks so much, Jamie. Okay, Kara, she's been texting me all day about how nervous she is. So give her a big old smile when she gets on here. Maybe. Yep. No, we'll come back to her. Okay, Christy Smith, let's go to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. First of all, what I've learned from this Zoom so far is that next time I'm going to log in as Abby, and that way I can go first. Let me show you my notes here. I've written things and crossed them out because you guys have mentioned so many good things. I'm like, oh, they said that. Well, they said that. So I don't want to repeat because there were so many good things. But yes, next time I'll be Abby. I think for me, the thing that was the biggest takeaway, and I know Jessica already touched on this, is the being authentic and the stories part, but that really was my biggest takeaway. And the question that they posed that is in my notes in bold was, who am I talking to? So when I do my posts, I'm going to have that in the back of my head of, like, who am I talking to? So when they say, like, somebody would respond like, oh, me too. Like, who am I even talking to? And so sometimes I think, like, I look back at some of my posts and I'm like, oh, I posted a picture of, like, my kids doing something. It's like, oh, me too? No one's saying me too. They're like cute kids. Like, I mean, they're not saying me too. So I have to put that thought in to, like, make a connection. And even if it's not necessarily the picture, but the words that I'm using and, like, what type of connection am I trying to make? So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway that I'll be, like, using right now. Even so, today we had parent teacher conferences and I was like, okay, anybody else get nervous before these? Because I sure do. And I've had a bunch of people commenting on it. So just like, being really intentional, where I think before I was just trying to get, like, my business post, my product post, and I know some of us do that. And, I work full time and so I've got to, like, last night did my post for this morning. So just being intentional with my time so that I can put more thought into it is the thing was a big tip for me. The thing that I'll put into place is similar to what Ashley had to say, but for me, it was, is about really getting my own results and really, really, like, being a product of the product. So if people are like, what, like, you want people to say, like, you look good, like, what do you do? Or, and so being really, truly being a product of the product and being able to say, like, what I'm using and that type of thing, getting my own before and after pictures. So it was not necessarily the panel that, like, struck me so much. It was about the fact that, I'm there with my roommate, Ray, who's dropped 10 pounds and looks freaking amazing. And Ashley Kunkler, I'm sure lots of people are following her story and all the weight she's lost, and Chrissy Reedy's shrinking down to nothings. And so, I mean, and all, you know, and it's like, and having those conversations outside of conference, with staying in the same house or walking on the beach together saying, what are you guys doing? And so today I downloaded my FitnessPal because that's what Chrissy Reedy's doing. And I thought, I'll take that tip. So some of the tips you really do get when you go to events from your conversations with others. And so I do feel like, well, all of this is so important in what they talk about in the panels and stuff. I get as much out of just being around others, not just necessarily like, obviously, like Deb said, the way I feel, but also the tips that I get just from others in conversation. So that's it.
Perfect. I love it. Kara's texting me. She really wanted to share her tips, but she can't get it to work. So I'm going to share them for her. So I know that her business building tip that she was going to put into action was, I forget who it was, Amanda Busher maybe, does little pop-up boutiques. And so she just goes around to like local businesses and asks if she can set up a booth for a couple hours. So gyms or boutiques, salons maybe even, I think she said, but she just goes in. Usually it's free. They just let her come in, and she's like, if I can post about it and I can maybe get more people in here, that's how she like gets them to let her do it for free. So I know she's super excited to do that. So that was her business building tip. And then she kind of echoed for her takeaway was that like your mess is your message. Like your story doesn't have to be perfect. The power is in the realness of your story. So that was her biggest takeaway. Okay. Christy Reedy, let's come to you.
All right. So my aha moment, I think I had a lot, but everybody stole them. But one of my big ones that I had also, was just a validation in me. Like I've been for the last 2.5 years, I don't know that I've missed an event. And I sit in the audience and I watch the panel that they do with people's results and before and afters. And I get really inspired. And it's kind of like what Ashley said, if you're reading the self-development or you're getting on the Zooms, but you don't put something into action immediately, the research says if you don't do it within 24 hours, you won't do it. And so here I sat in the audience at all of these events over the last 1.5 years thinking, oh my gosh, they got amazing results because they use the products consistently. And wow, look what it did for their business. Their business blew up. And so even, at the green carpet event in St. Louis, I sat there and was super inspired, but yet I didn't come home and put it in action consistently. And so, I have lost 18 pounds. And so when that panel came up at Green Carpet this time, it felt good knowing that I was doing the things and that, not only for my business, but I just feel better in my own skin. I have more energy, all that kind of stuff. So that was very validating. And that's something as a leader that I tell my team all the time, like, do all the reading and watching of the Zooms, but if you don't put something into action. So it was that moment where I finally started, taking my own advice and doing the things, and it felt really good because I see the difference that it's creating in my business. So that was kind of my aha moment. It was kind of like an atta girl, about time. I'm going to talk about something different as far as my tip, because I think everyone always wants to know, what do you do to duplication? How do you teach your new teammates how to do all of the things? And so I think it was Christy Christensen from Las Vegas. She said, you just got to be your own rock star. If you're not doing the things that you need to do as a business owner and you're not pulling in loyal customers and pulling in distributors, there's nothing to duplicate. You have to be doing the things and pulling in the loyal customers and the distributors, and then the actions to duplicate. And I guarantee it's steps to success. I guarantee it's our 6 list. And the other thing that I want to just reiterate that kind of went along with that, we all know all the things to do. There's no lack of knowledge. There's no lack of resources. It's just a matter of, are you going to hold yourself accountable for doing the things so that you can say with 100% certainty, yes, you do have to plant the seeds. Yes, you do have to reach out to people. Yes, you have to be intentional in income producing tasks, but there is a harvest because I have experienced it, and I can speak with conviction that these steps, these 6, our 6 list does in fact work. So if you are not doing those things yourself, you can't duplicate that for someone else because there's nothing to duplicate. So it was kind of I think I related to it because she's probably a red personality and so am I. And I was like, oh, that's so true. So that's my tip. If you're trying to figure out how to teach your team how to do it, you got to do it first. And then you can teach it with conviction. And I'm a former teacher. We teach best what we need to know ourselves. So I encourage you to do all of the things.
I love that so much, Christy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see who's next. Lindsay Muffler.
Hey. Okay, so a lot of mine is repetitive, but and I probably won't say it as eloquently as what they did at Green Carpet, but the mountain in the valley scenario that I think it was Cammie that was talking about it, like blew my mind. I had to actually text some of my friends this morning because I was like, so I wrote down the quote and then the rest of the time I just sat there like this because I was so enthralled in what she was saying. So I had to have them like help me with some of the context that she used. So I think Brittany touched on it. A couple other people did. God created the mountaintops in the valleys. We as humans created the bridges. So there is no easy way from point A to point B. And so I think for me, that was an aha moment because I feel like a lot of times we are always looking for the easiest way. For me, dreaming has never been an issue. Like I have big dreams, I have big goals, but I think I definitely do sometimes feel like I just look for the easiest way. And I think that we just have to focus on getting from point A to point B and knowing what it takes to get there. So we have the steps to success. We have our 6 lists, and it's just all about consistency. It's all about doing those things over and over and over again every single day and knowing that you may be in the valley now, but you're working towards the top of the mountaintop. Growth happens in the valleys. So when you feel like your business is in a slump or that you're not you're not reaping the fruit, just know that what you're doing now is going to get you to the top of that mountain. You may not bring all of the same people with you. So the people that you started with may not be the people that you promote to even Ruby with or to Diamond or anywhere else. So you just have to think of it as a constant, just consistency, just doing the same things over and over again and bringing as many people with you. Let me see what else. So I've heard this a million times, but I just wanted to point out that Cammie Pentecost didn't sign her first distributor until 6 months into her business. So the daughter of the company didn't sign her first DT until 6 months into her business. So if you're feeling like you're struggling or if you're getting discouraged, like you just have to make a decision that you're going to make this work and that you're going to stick with it. And that I feel like makes all the difference. There are no victims. There's only volunteers was another thing that I wrote down that hit home to me. So, if you are choosing to succumb to your environment. So if you can make up excuse after excuse after excuse. You're too busy. You got laid off. Someone passed away. You're choosing to let those things get in the way of you and success, you and that promotion. And then something that I took away that I'm going to put into play with my business is just what Christy Smith touched on and a couple other people, really focusing on authentic marketing versus attraction marketing. The whole Me Too thing. So people want to be making people say Me Too is a huge key on connecting to your audience, and just making them really feel the struggle. So people relate to the struggles more than they do to success, which makes so much sense, right? We live in a world that we don't dream. People don't see those big successes. So when you're posting about, the bonuses that you got and you get to, I just paid cash for this Disney trip. Well, they don't feel like that's in reach for them right now because they have never been taught to dream like that, and they don't even know that that's possible. So I think that those things are important to post about every once in a while. But for me, I'm going to really try to focus on the smaller successes and just being super relatable in my business. And I just wanted to close with your career pays your bills and your side hustle pays for your dreams, because I thought that was so cool.
So good. So good. I've seen several people post that this weekend. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so true. So true. Okay, we've got just a couple more. I know it's late, so hang in. Rebecca, are you still on here, girlfriend?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hi. Okay. So one of the tips that I took away was, so whenever I make stories on like Instagram or Facebook, I feel like I feel like I want to share them every day, but I felt like I was repeating myself. So one of the takeaways one of the tips for the business that I'm going to I'm putting in play is like sharing, because there's many chapters in a book. So just hone in on like one specific thing, instead of just telling the whole story in your story, just like, narrow it down to different parts. Like, I'm a teen mom and, I dropped out of college because I didn't feel like it was the right place for me, and just like different ways to tell my story rather than just like, I don't know, so much. And like, I felt like I was repeating myself because it was like, since I've only done so many things with the business so far, and also like talk about where I'm going instead of just repeating the same thing, just find different ways to tell the story. Like, that's what I took away from it. And then my biggest aha moment, so I'm a crier, so let's try not to do that. Okay. So one of the things that I loved about being at the events is, so reading somebody's story and like hearing it in video is, great. Like, I love hearing everybody's stories, but like actually like seeing them in person, like on the stage, and like feeling their emotion like in the room, and like just talking about like where they came from, where they are now, and where they're going. And like, it was just so moving for me in particular, because like just listening to everybody's story and finally like putting myself in that spot where I feel like I can do this as well. And just knowing I'm not the only one that has struggled, like with, I know Trista, she's, when she first started, we talked a little bit after the training about like working 50 hours a week and just learning to get a routine down and stuff along those lines, and just like balancing life and the business and parenting and myself, and just like also knowing I'm not the only one that's been stuck at a certain rank for an extended amount of time. That was really relieving, because I felt I just felt like maybe I'm not supposed to go farther because I haven't gone farther in this certain like month. So it's like so relieving that, so and so stayed at whatever for like that long too, and then something changed and then it just blew up. So it's just so relieving. So I also learned a lot about focusing on my mindset, because I don't believe in myself, and I think that's one of the biggest things that's holding me back. It's not like knowledge, it's not like I'm pretty bad at time management, but I'm learning to get better. But like, I'm really gonna focus in on that mindset, because I don't believe in myself, and just because like I am a teen mom, I'm so much more than a teen mom, I'm so much more than a troubled family. I'm just I'm made for so much more, and so are each and every one of us. And I think it's hard to, when you start telling your story it's hard to not like get wrapped up in like, oh, well, I'm the only one that feels this way, when in reality, everyone, like there's a certain person that's just waiting for you to come along and just like light something you've never been thought of. So that's it.
I love that so much. Absolutely. Somebody is waiting on you to come and tell your story. Abso-freaking-lutely. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. That was perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Hey everybody, I'm Suzanne and I'm a first-time speaker. Oh wait, wrong meeting. All right, so it seems like everybody has touched on multiple aha moments that I had throughout Green Carpet. I'm already so excited about conference, tickets bought. One thing that he said that really hit home for me was that 2020 was only 101 days away. And I mean, granted it's 99 now, but it was only 101 days away. And are you at now where you wanted to be? And are you on track to finishing 2019 where you wanted to be, where you set your goals for? And it was really a moment for me to look deep inside. And no, I'm not. You know, did I get the promotion? Yes. Have I maintained it? No. And the other thing was that it is okay to fall, but it is not okay to stay there. So one of the things for me is definitely I need to push, and I really, really need to get out of my comfort zone and stop doing things the way that I have been doing them. I need to take it to the next level. I need to take it to a whole nother level. I need to get out of my comfort zone. You know, I never thought that I would really speak on a Zoom, and trust me, my heart is like boom, 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 boom right now. But it's something that I need to do for myself to grow as a business owner. I have to start doing the things. No greatness has ever come from a comfort zone. But things that I need to put in action is plan, do, and review. I sat outside of the morning training on Friday, and that was one thing that they talked about. Plan, do, and review. And it's basically about self-accountability and making sure that you're setting those goals and those tasks. Again, you know, it's been touched on with the 6 list and everything like that. Those are the things that I need to be doing every day. I work full time, so I need to find those little breaks in my day when I can't actually get off the sales floor and try and sneak those messages out or make that extra post or make a post even. The days get away from me sometime. So that was about it. And thank you for letting me ramble, because that's what I do when I get on TV.
You did so great. You can't tell you're nervous at all. You did so wonderful. And I love that. And that was a different tip, the plan, do, and review. And it kind of tied into what you're talking about at the beginning. Like, look back at this year. Are you where you want to be? And why not if the answer is no? And if you had a great year, great. What did you do that you can help either your team implement, or what can you do to even make it better? I love that, Sue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we've got 2 more guys. So Tiffany, let's come to you. First event.
All right. Yep, it was my first event. I've only been in the business since May. But at the beginning, I was like super on fire. And then over the summer, obviously things started to get slow. And so I feel like this was like the perfect time for an event. The 6 list I did at the beginning, slacked off, but I rewrote it. And I feel like, well, Lindsay rewrote it for me. And then like I kind of tweaked it, and I was like, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. And she's just like looks at me, and I'm like, I know, it's just an excuse. So for me, I need to step out of my comfort zone and just get over myself, obviously, and stop worrying about what other people think, because I'm doing this right now for myself and for my family. And every business is out there in your face pushing something or whatever. So I'm no different. And anyways, so that was kind of like my biggest thing was that I'm putting into action is my 6 list, and I'm sticking to it. I put it in a little notebook that I can carry with me, and I can jot down, okay, I reached out to 10 people right now, wrote it down, check it off. My biggest aha moment, the takeaway that I had was watching the people that have been in the company for 10 years or more walk up on that stage. And I'm like, yes, this is who I want to be with, because they are there with their people, and they want to be there, and I want to be there in 10 years. So I was just, I really like how they take care of the people. And then, I have one more thing. I have to make this business important enough in my life to hit the next rank I want to achieve. So I just need to put those goals into place and make it that important.
I love it. And I want to touch on what you talked about, the people being in 10 years and the longevity and just who we are as a company. I don't think I understood this piece in the beginning because I just wasn't familiar with multi-level marketing. I wasn't familiar with the industry. But I don't think you guys get how incredible it is to have a company that has been around in an MLM structure for as long as it has. This does not happen in this industry, and it is a blessing that we have a company that has been around for 18 years. They're debt free. They literally are. It's not normal. So just know what we have it is such a gift, and it is strong, and it's going to be around for generations to come. Like that is their plan, and the Pentecost, their heart for their people is completely unmatched. Just knowing who Cindy and Mark are, you are in the right place at the right time for such a time as this. So thank you so much, Tiffany. Okay, Tracy, let's come to you. And then Andrea wanted to add one more thing. So we'll go Tracy, Andrea, and then we'll be done.
Tracy messaged me and said her son got sick like 15 minutes ago, so she had to hop off.
Okay.
And I'm not for sure what her tip was, but what I will tell you is that as of a couple days before the green carpet, she was not planning on coming. And so I know that it was definitely a mindset shift for her and definitely what she needed. But while we're here, before Andrea shares one last tip, I kind of want to say something really. Actually, Andrea, go ahead and say your thing, and then I can end with my shebang.
Perfect.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So I just wanted to say, I think it was Nina that mentioned this, but she was talking about following up with people and asked how long or how many messages you send to somebody. If you're just sending 2 or 3 messages when you're trying to ask them about the business or product, and instead of just stopping at 2 to 3, she mentioned how sometimes she sends 13 messages to that person before they actually respond to her. And I think my favorite thing she said about that was sometimes if they just completely ghosted her, she'll just throw a before and after picture in and be like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to send that, but that it got the conversation back going again.
I love that. Actually, sometimes I send gifts and that will usually get a response too. So just thinking of like something different to do, like what can I do that's not just another, hey girl, have you thought any more about it? Like gifts are my thing. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, Britt, you want to close this out?
Yep. So to end with this, I'm not for sure when I will do it, but I will do it. I want to do some kind of group page when it gets closer to conference time for everyone that's going, so that we can really pre-plan areas that we are going to be able to sit together, work together, connect, mingle with each other. I think that is so important. And I think that's something that I've not always done a very good job at. And it wasn't that I didn't want to. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know how to do it. And so I think all we have to do is pre-plan. And this is just an idea I have. It's nothing that I have set in stone or that we'll even follow through with if someone says like, no, that's not a good idea. But I'm thinking about, for the first time ever, maybe getting some kind of t-shirts to wear as a big group for conference. I always see some people do it, and I know it's going to be hard to make sure we get everyone's size and get everyone's mailed to them. But if that's something that we think we want to do, I would love nothing more than to maybe one day or one evening, just to let, one thing I think super important is no one knows your rank when you walk into those buildings. No one knows your rank, right? So I don't want you to feel defeated about your rank, right? I want you, but here's the fun. How fun would it be to walk in a room and when people see that we have some sort of matching shirt, they're like, well, hold on a second. They're all connected and there's that many of them there. I want to be just like that team. So that's something I was thinking about too. So that's something we can talk about at a later date, but I want to kind of implement that sooner than later so that it's not like 2 weeks before and we're like, we need crickets. We need 12 crickets. We got to start gluing them on. And then we give them to you, the peeling comes off. No, we're not doing crickets. But anyway, so maybe we can do something like that.
That'd be so fun. I love it. Okay, perfect. I'm going to get off here because we are way over time, but I'll get this uploaded. So if any of your people didn't get on to watch it live, I'll get it uploaded. Have a good night, guys. Opportunity event on Wednesday, and we're also going to have a pop-up one on Sunday. So be looking out for that. All right. Good night, guys.